right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Talk Yo Shift. This is De'Eric.
And I'm Antoine.
Listen, we back for another one, man. And we here, man, really just to kind of have a conversation and kind of give our review and our opinions and our thoughts on this most recent Super Bowl.
Yep.
So the Super Bowl just happened last week. So for those that's listening to this, we're recording this about a week and a few days later. But so the Super Bowl just took place last week. The Seahawks against the Patriots.
Yeah.
What do you think about the game, man?
Man, to be honest with you, the game was pretty slow and boring.
Man, after the first half, it was halftime, and then Seahawks was just up by like 6 or 7. It was just
bro. It was just not a fun game to watch.
No touchdowns. I ain't gonna lie. After the halftime show, I didn't really watch much of the game after that. For real.
I didn't either.
I didn't really care much for the game. But you know, the Super Bowl is one of them things you just gotta watch. You feel me? Because it's like, if your family is big on sports or whatever, you know, coming over somebody's house, getting some chicken wings and some pizza and stuff like that,
sure.
like, it's always a vibe to watch the Super Bowl. You know, they got the best commercials. You know, depending on if you're a fan of football or not, you get to watch the game. Sometimes the halftime show is who you want to see.
Facts.
This year, though,
the
halftime show was Bad Bunny, who is a Spanish artist, Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
He's from Puerto Rico. And a lot of people had an issue with that.
I see that. I seen a whole bunch of controversy on social media about
the controversy was crazy. And it's like, you know, we know who was having issues with it because, you know, the Super Bowl is considered the big American game.
Absolutely.
Right. So having a Spanish artist seems like it doesn't go with it. But I mean, Puerto Rico, one, is a part of America.
100%.
You know, but yeah, so Bad Bunny
which is crazy, actually.
Artist. What's
the
that?
fact that it's a part of America and we still like,
and we still
really
don't consider it America.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But so yeah, people had an issue with it. They had an issue with it so much so that people thought it necessary to have their own halftime event because they didn't believe that the halftime show was American enough. So we're going to set up another event that's going to go live at the same time as the halftime show.
What did they call it again? The alternative?
It was the Turning Point USA organization, Charlie Kirk's organization, who put this on. I think they just called it the All American Halftime Show.
So that speaks volumes.
It says a lot, man, and that's really what I want to talk about today because I think America has an issue when it comes to embracing other people's culture. And I think that was on full display for this Super Bowl weekend. It was on full display, man.
It definitely exposed it right there.
You have Bad Bunny, who was a huge artist. Bro ain't no local. He ain't no B-list artist. Bad Bunny is a huge artist. He has a huge fan base. And even though even if you don't speak Spanish, he has an amazing catalog. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of big songs. And I was first introduced to Bad Bunny on NBA 2K.
For real?
Yeah, he got a song called I forgot what the song was called, but it had this dope beat to it, and it was all Spanish, but the song was cold.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Who is this?" So you check the soundtrack to NBA 2K, and it was Bad Bunny. So I started checking out some of his catalog. I was like, "Man, this is a fly ass dope, Spanish artist." You know what I'm saying? But I knew that when he was going to be on the Super Bowl, I knew I wasn't going to know his catalog like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I really didn't know what to expect, but.
And you probably know way more catalog than I do because I don't really know any. Only song I know is like maybe one or two. And his most popular song, I think, is Monaco. They got like a really dope beat to it.
That's the one that I'm talking about. That's the one that's on 2K.
Yeah.
That song is fly. Yeah.
It is. It's fly.
So I knew that. That's all I knew.
That's it. Yep.
So I didn't know what to expect, but sometimes I could be a contrarian or sometimes I can kind of be very optimistic. So it's like, because people were giving Bad Bunny so much flack for being a part of the Super Bowl halftime show, I was like, I want to tune in now.
Right. I want to tune in. Like, let me see what the controversy is about.
I gotta see what the issue is. Like, so okay, I get it. We mad because he's a Spanish speaking artist and we think that's not American. I mean, but Puerto Rico is part of America. I think he has every right to be
absolutely
a part of the halftime show, but Cool. If that
100%,
if
bro.
that makes y'all mad, it makes me want to tune in even more.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
like you said just before, D, like even if it's not American, right? Like I feel like, bro, like a lot of us don't have capacity. And that's why I think a lot of people had an issue with the halftime shows because like a lot of us aren't willing to grow and expand our capacity. We're just wanting to stay comfortable and stay in our own mindsets and be complacent in it. And then, I think growing outside of that and expanding our capacity is uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? Growth is uncomfortable. New
Yeah.
things are uncomfortable. But what's familiar, what's the same, the same things that stay the same, what's repetitive is comfortable for us. And
For
so
sure.
I don't know, bro. I think a lot of people just gotta be willing to open themselves up and grow and have capacity. That's the
I
only way you're
agree.
gonna be able to receive things. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think
Yeah.
embracing other people's culture is inconvenient, right?
Mm,
So a
talk
lot
to
of
'em.
people, it's convenient to just stay in your own bubble and stay within the people that look like you. Like, don't get me wrong, it's almost inevitable. You're gonna be around people who are like you because you come from that, right? So
Yeah.
me being a black American, coming from a black family, obviously. So I grew up in a black neighborhood.
Yeah.
The schools I went to, um, was predominantly black.
Yep.
Uh, of course, the church I grew up in, black church. Um, so everything was black in my scope, right?
Right.
Now, me being a musician afforded me the opportunity to travel the world and see all walks of life,
Right.
right? Not even just traveling the world, but as a musician, if you really study your craft, you learn more than one genre.
Yep.
So you have an opportunity to kind of open your ears up to more palettes of music and a more diverse um canvas of music, right?
Yeah.
So, you learn Latin, you learn gospel, you learn hip hop, R&B, pop.
Sure.
So you turned on to a lot of different sounds and a lot of different voices, right? So
Absolutely.
that really afforded me the opportunity to start branching out and embracing other cultures.
Yeah.
Uh,
100%.
but embracing other cultures, man, is inconvenient. There's a level of intentionality that you got to have when it comes to embracing other people's culture, because there's some people, even in my family, who have never left Kentucky. Like
Wow.
all they know is Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? They don't travel much. They may have
Never
went over
left
the
the
bridge and
state?
went to Indiana, but it's like
Yeah.
there's people who that's all they know. Their world is
Hmm.
their city.
Right.
So it's like it takes some level of intentionality, because it's not
Yeah, for
really
sure.
convenient. It's not convenient. It's something you got to try.
You do. That's a good point, bro. I
It's
agree.
something you got to try, and I think
We can be lazy.
we can be lazy, but not only we can be
Yeah.
entitled to think that
Yeah.
everything should be palatable for us.
Yeah.
And I think that was on full display during Super Bowl weekend. I mean, not even during, but even once Bad Bunny was announced to be the Super Bowl halftime performance, people started
There were comments everywhere for sure.
already.
Yeah.
This ain't right. This ain't American. He don't even speak no English. He has
Hmm.
no respect for America. It was a bunch of noise, man. And I think the lack of intentionality, the lack of respect for other people's culture was on full display during the halftime
Mm.
show.
That doesn't make sense to me though. How can you say he doesn't? How does he not respect America? Where are
I
people getting
remember
it
there was
from?
like a clip that people saw where the national anthem was being played and he wasn't standing.
Oh, okay.
Very
I mean,
patriotic white folk really take offense to that.
I mean, in that case, Americans don't expect America because some Americans don't stand up
I
for the
mean,
national anthem.
if you look up, there was some I looked up a while ago. It was back when Colin Kaepernick was taking his stance.
Right.
But there's different ways. There's different things that you shouldn't do to disrespect or dishonor the flag. And not only did people think that when Colin Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem, um, as dishonorable, did you know that wearing the flag as an apparel is dishonorable too?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
So my thing is, if you find kneeling dishonorable, then nobody should be wearing the flag neither on any apparel, because
Yeah.
that's considered dishonorable to the American flag as well. But it just shows how selective we are on what we deem as dishonorable or disrespectful.
Right.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? Like, you ain't
Yeah.
got no issue wearing it on you, but because someone kneeled, you have an issue with that. It's
Come on, bro.
a lot of people's feelings was hurt, man. And I think it was, and I don't feel no ways about it. I don't feel no ways about it. So I think Bad Bunny is a cultural conversation, right? And
Absolutely.
that's why I thought it was necessary to have this conversation on our podcast, because I think there was a lot of stuff that I pulled from it, man. When I watched it, so you watched it, right?
Yeah, I sure did.
When I
Twice.
watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I thought it was beautiful. Like, it was color, it was vibrant, the energy was high.
for sure.
Even though I didn't understand the language, the music was good.
It was.
The music was good. Like,
You
it
can still
had,
bop to it.
you know what I'm saying? Like, me and my
Yeah.
daughter was in the living room dancing to it. Like, it was,
Facts.
the energy was amazing, bro.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, the production of it was on full display. I mean, it was top tier, bro.
And it was a lot of nuggets in there too that, like, if you go back and look at it, bro, like, people missed out on, like, that were symbolic.
Storytelling. There was a
Yeah.
lot of storytelling. Man, Bad Bunny came with it, and whoever his production manager or whoever designed the whole thing, they came with it, bro. They
Thumbs
came
up
with it.
for
They
sure.
came with it. Like, it was 110% for me.
Yeah.
And
It was an
but
actual wedding.
it was a wedding.
Somebody got
And
married.
found out after the Super Bowl, it was a real wedding.
A real wedding. That's crazy work.
So I mean, it was a lot. There was a lot there that was beautiful to take to kind of take in and just appreciate, man.
Yeah.
But it saddens me that people had so much of an issue with this that they thought it necessary to have their own event because they had no respect for this one.
That's really sad and unfortunate, bro. That, like, people's expression of something, like, others can get offended by it.
Mm-hmm. Because that's really what it comes down to, man. Again, embracing somebody else's culture takes intentionality, right?
100%.
You got to have an interest in it. Not necessarily an interest, but a curiosity about it,
Facts.
right? Like, okay, here's this Spanish-speaking artist, or here's these Spanish-speaking people, Hispanic
Yeah.
people, who come from a totally different culture. That, of course, they don't speak the same language. So
Yeah.
apparently a lot of their practices and a lot of their ways of life is different from us. And I'm curious as to how they do things differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that curiosity should then lead to intentionality of trying to learn more and figure it out. The beautiful thing about America is that there's so many different people living in this country, right?
Yeah.
And that is what makes America beautiful.
Facts. The diversity
is the diversity, the different nationalities, the different ethnicities, all the different backgrounds and different walks of life.
All of them
Is
cultures
what
coming together.
makes America beautiful.
Facts.
But what we saw on display at the Super Bowl and the people who did not appreciate that beauty.
Yeah.
That's what we saw on full display.
Yeah.
And it was ugly. It was ugly. I think it was a horrible representation of this country. And I think it was a horrible representation of humanity, of how we can just disapprove of someone's culture so much that we don't even want you to watch it. So
It's sad, bro.
Let's make something that's more for us.
Yep.
That's more for us. So that you don't have to tune in to something that's not like us.
You know, and I'm really surprised that doesn't make people ask questions. Because it makes me ask questions. Like, even for example, with the Super Bowl, my perspective wasn't, I don't understand this, so I don't like it. It's not palatable to me. It was, man, I don't understand it, but the vibe, the energy's well. I love it. This looks dope. This is fly. And you know what? Maybe I should be trying to learn Spanish so I can understand. So I give myself an opportunity to understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Expansion, growth, capacity. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just unfortunate, man, whenever people respond that way to stuff like that, even when it's not even harmful. It's actually, I mean, we seen the, what was the quote that Bad Bunny put up on the Super Bowl? Where he was like,
love
something
is
about
more powerful than hate, I think.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? And it's like,
Yeah.
wait, how do y'all take this away from this dude's halftime show when he's sending messages like this?
It don't matter. It
It doesn't make sense, bro.
It don't matter.
It really, like you said, reveals the condition of, like, humanity and where we need to really grow up. It's just simple as that. Like, we need to grow up and mature.
For sure.
You know? Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, and I might be petty saying this, bro. I saw clips from the Turning Point USA event, bro. It was trash.
Who they even have perform? I didn't
It
even
was
look at it.
it was trash. Like y'all didn't even like put even effort in it. That's how I know
Yeah.
y'all was just mad. Y'all was
Right.
just doing this just to be petty. And
Yeah.
it was like because y'all didn't put no effort in the production. I mean, the lineup was bull. You know what I'm
Bull.
saying? Like it was trash, bro. Like my thing is
Yeah.
if you gonna try to outdo somebody else because you don't think it's right,
Go
outdo
big.
them.
Yeah,
Outdo them. Like y'all should have went crazy.
for sure.
But no, y'all was just mad. So it's like we gonna have our own little.
Boo.
It was
It
trash,
was
bro. It was trash. And no disrespect to the artist. I'm just
right,
talking about the
absolutely.
presentation of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at one point, Kid Rock was a big artist.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
nothing to that. I'm just talking about the overall presentation.
Absolutely.
You basically said we don't agree and we don't like who was chosen for the Super Bowl. So we're
Facts.
gonna create another event to go against that
Right.
we think everybody should tune into because this is more American.
Right.
And your presentation of that was bull. It was garbage.
Terrible.
It really was. Like
Yeah.
you didn't come with it.
In fact, it was so terrible, some people didn't even watch, myself included. I don't even know, like, who was in it, what did it consisted of, none of that. I didn't turn.
I personally didn't care for it, but I
Yeah.
was like, you know what I'm saying? Let me check it out and see what they really
Right.
doing over
I
here.
should have checked it out, but I didn't even, like, look at it for because, like, after I heard even before I heard what everybody was saying, I didn't even know, like, there was an alternative show. I just had heard people saying, "Y'all know it was an alternative show, and this is why they did it," and I was like, "Really?" But I never went to go check it out because I was just like, I could care less about it,
Yeah,
bro. Yeah.
nah, bruh. It's like, you know how when you go to a concert or a comedy show and you see how sometimes shows get double booked, right?
Mhm.
You be like, oh man, such and such is coming to town the same night, such and such is coming to town. Like
Yeah.
sometimes that stuff is done mistakenly and it's just unfortunate, right?
You're right.
And whoever you like more, that's the show you're gonna go to. It's nothing against the other performers or the other show. It's just
Right.
that I'm more familiar and I'm more I enjoy this one more either because I don't know much about the other person or I don't have much familiarity about this. Like I have more of a history with this artist, performer, whoever it is. So it's like it's not I'm going to this because that shouldn't be going on.
Right.
I'm going to this because they happen to be booked on the same night, but this is where I want to go.
This is I prefer to, you feel me, go this way.
Nothing against the other
That's
side.
it. Yep.
This was not that.
Mhm.
This was not that. This
You can
was
see the heart behind it was
it was ugly. And I honestly think that that's why the presentation of it was bull because the intent behind it was bull.
exactly. That's it right there.
The
Facts.
intent behind it was ugly. The intent behind it was dishonorable. The
Mhm.
intent behind it was disrespectful.
Yep.
And again, I love being in this country. I really do. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's afforded me a lot of opportunities. This is the only country I know, even though I've been around other people from other countries. But at the same time, what Bad Bunny displayed, I think, was a beautiful picture of America. And I think that
1000% agree, bro.
I think that should have been embraced. It should have been appreciated. It should have been respected.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
Period. That's just my take. It should have been respected. Do I
Right.
know all of Bad Bunny's political views? I don't. Do
No.
I really know how he lives as a man? I don't.
We
Will I
don't.
ever know how he really lives as a person? No, probably
Right.
never. A lot of these celebrities, you don't really know who they really are, how they really move. Some of them are very vocal about their political views, and some of them are not. But
Right.
it's just like for entertainment purposes, I thought it was a beautiful representation of this country and a beautiful representation of where he comes from as well.
Absolutely. And just because you don't understand it or you don't even, it's not even necessarily your preference, doesn't mean you can't celebrate someone sending a good message. I mean, are we really for the betterment of ourselves, our country, and others like we say we are? And if we are, then no matter where the message comes from, if it produces fruit, if it produces good for others, then we shouldn't be shameful about it.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So that's
absolutely.
how I look at it.
I think another thing that kind of struck me in a positive way was the emotional response from Hispanic people from Bad Bunny having this opportunity.
Yeah, bro. I felt that.
Hispanic people from Puerto Rico felt like their culture was on full display for the world to see the beautiful pieces of their culture.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bad Bunny had an opportunity to shine a light on the beautiful things that come from that culture.
Absolutely.
The response to it, like, people was in tears, bro,
Yeah.
because it was like, man, finally we get to be represented on the big stage.
Our light was finally shown. People see us now.
You know what I'm saying? To be
Yep.
seen.
Be seen.
To be seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about my children who, getting dad's attention is a golden thing.
Facts.
Right? And even if they doing something stupid or just childish or silly,
Yeah.
I want my dad to see it.
Facts.
And when dad finally sees it, it means the world to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So to be seen means a lot, even as a human being, as an adult, to be seen, to be heard,
Right.
to be represented to some degree in a light that is positive, that's beautiful, that's vibrant and life-giving. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine the emotional feeling that Hispanic people had because of that
Absolutely.
opportunity.
Yeah. It's literally a part of their identity. It is their identity. Like, so.
Like that honestly, that pulled on a heartstring for me. And
It did,
it made
bro. I agree.
me think about the importance of representation, right?
Facts.
And how representation is really important. We live in America where diversity is here. Diversity is here. It's inevitable, right?
Facts.
Diversity is here. All of us come from a lot of different walks of life. Some of them are similar. Some of them are very different.
Yeah.
And diversity is something that I think should be embraced, period, because it's
Period.
here.
Yep.
And diversity should always show up everywhere.
100%.
That's me. Representation means a lot to everybody.
100%.
And I think that that's what was going on during the Super Bowl. And we got a chance to see a culture in a light that was so beautiful. How could you not appreciate it?
Bad Bunny really some people might not agree with this, but Bad Bunny to me really just did what Kendrick Lamar did last year for the Super Bowl.
Straight
Just
up.
your Spanish version of it.
Straight up.
That's it.
I mean,
Kendrick went out there, represented his culture, expressed the oppression, the marginalization, the things we go through within our culture, but then he also showed the beauty of Black culture, right? And I feel like Bad Bunny was just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Or at least in a similar way. He was sending a positive message while also representing his culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sharing his story.
Yeah.
His lived experiences.
Absolutely.
Why is that shameful or wrong for anyone to do that?
Because when let me be more blunt.
Come on.
When white people don't see themselves in the picture, they have an issue with it. It's really that simple, bro.
So they got to be in the spotlight?
They got to
be on top.
This is the USA.
Come on.
This is the US of A. You know what I'm saying? America was built off colonization. America was built off supremacy. America was built off making everyone else's domain more palatable for ours.
Facts.
And feel free to disagree wholeheartedly with me. But it's the truth. It's historically proven, right? We take certain territories and we colonize it.
Yep.
We make it fit us. Right? And we move out whatever culture, whatever people, whatever way of life that was there. And we weed that out and we make it more suitable for us.
For us, exactly.
And when it came to the Super Bowl game, we think that the Super Bowl is an opportunity that should be just that. It should be suitable for us.
Yeah.
And the level of entitlement that you have to make you be upset the fact that a Spanish speaking artist was headlining the Super Bowl. That's entitlement.
Yeah. And you need to go deal with you.
That's entitlement. That's not Bad Bunny's issue. That's your issue.
Facts.
It just isn't. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has to speak your language. Nobody has to live like you. Nobody has to follow your practices. Nobody has to do that. They don't have to do that.
Absolutely not.
They just don't. Especially Bad Bunny. Like, he lived in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
And he just happened to be a super big artist, and he got the opportunity to headline the Super Bowl. Like, He shouldn't have to practice like, okay, let me try to get all my songs in English. Let me make
Right.
sure the subtitles is in English. Let me make sure I make it palatable for the American people. No, y'all about to get this culture. Y'all about to
Come
get
on, bro.
every bit of it.
Y'all about to get this culture.
Y'all about
Everything.
to get every bit of it. I'm about to give y'all, put it on full display where I come from, what we represent, how we live, what we look like, what we sound like, what we smell like, what we taste like. Because what America is really good at doing, instead of appreciating culture, we appropriate it and we exploit it.
Sure do.
Because the truth is, y'all didn't like the Spanish speaking artists, but y'all like every bit of spices and food that come from there, though.
Ooh.
I mean, it's the truth.
They like the food.
We don't care for you, but
y'all like tacos and burritos.
We'll take from y'all.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the stuff that, bro, like, it amazes me. It really does. It amazes. Trevor Noah said one time in one of his stand-up specials, he was just like, man, if we want to get immigrants out of the country, then all of their food and seasoning and spices should go too. You should not be allowed to even take part in it. If it was not based in America, if it wasn't, if it didn't come from America, you shouldn't take part of it. If you have a disdain for other cultures that bad, why are you partaking in any of it?
I seen a video recently actually where the lady was like, well, if you're racist against black people, then you should use those the things that black people created. That means the stroller, the light bulb. Hey, that's real talk, though. That's crazy. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Why are you engaging in the things that a race of people created that you don't like? You should be like, nah, I don't partake in none of that.
Yes.
You ain't gonna say it though.
But it's so American though to be that way.
Yeah. Because it's not convenient for you. You do everything.
Care nothing for you, but let's take from you and use it for ours.
As long as it benefits and it's convenient for us, we'll use that. But if not, we can throw it to the wayside.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's I mean, and a lot of cultures have experienced that in this country. You know what I'm saying? Where you take from us, you like the things that we make, the things we create, the things that we bring to the table. You just don't want us sitting at the table.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's ugly, bro. And I think it doesn't express the heart of the Father. It doesn't. It's not the way of Jesus, right? Because we're a Christian country, and we talked about this in our last episode. But we claim the name of Jesus.
We claim the name.
We claim to be Christian, but so much of Jesus's message, we don't embody that.
Absolutely not. And our actions seem to typically be far from the actions of Jesus. So it's like the person we claim to represent, like we actually contradict what we claim to represent.
Yeah.
Because we're not modeling that thing.
Right. But I mean, because Jesus was an immigrant. You know, Jesus didn't speak English.
Yep.
So
and he was a man, and he had color. That's 2 strikes against you, according to what we experiencing today.
Make it make sense.
Why does it sound so familiar?
Make it make sense. Like, we are a Christian nation, and we claim Jesus, who was not American.
Yeah. I thought 2 plus 2 equals 4.
But when non-Americans are in this country, we have an issue with it. When a non-American, when a Spanish-speaking artist is headlining the Super Bowl, the biggest game in the world.
Oh, I just caught what you said. That's crazy.
We have an issue with it.
The man you claim to represent your country is an immigrant, but you refuse to engage in immigrants' expression of their culture.
But we have such a problem with immigrants.
What? That's crazy work.
Man,
that's insane work.
It's a mental illness.
That is literally a contradiction right there in your face. You claim
it's a mental illness, if you ask me,
bruh.
Something ain't clicking right here, bro. Something's not clicking right here. How do you praise a savior? How do you praise someone like Jesus and call yourself a follower of Jesus when he himself was not from your culture, was not from your country, and did not speak your language, and did not do things in a American way? But you claim to follow him. but you have an issue with other people who don't speak your language, who don't come from your country or your culture. That level of entitlement and that level of supremacy, I think when we see other cultures, we think that it it's taking up space and it doesn't allow us to have room. Like America thinks that we're shrinking because other cultures are showing up, right? When
Yep.
in reality, embracing other cultures being in this country is not erasure of another culture. It's really expansion of what America is really about.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
And it's like
it's not taking away, it's adding to.
Bad Bunny just expanded the palette of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? And honestly, I think it was an amazing business decision too, because, more people from different countries probably tuned into the Super Bowl that probably have never tuned in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's more money.
That's more money. Yeah. So why y'all complaining?
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you just looked at it as a business thing, yeah, let's bring the culture.
Not a great idea and a great opportunity.
Let's embrace the culture. Let's bring them in. Let's give them an opportunity to sit at the table and give them representation, because it's going to affect our bottom line in an amazing way.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
there's this quote I seen. I might be butchering. I'm gonna try to paraphrase the best I can though. It said, just like we were talking about, like how people say they claim to represent Jesus, right? But very, very seldomly model after him. This quote says, "You only love God as much as you love the person you say you love the least." I might be butchering that quote, but I think it's so true, bro. Like,
say it again.
You only love God as much as you love the person that you say you love the least. Yep.
And there's a scripture that says, what you've done to the least of these, you've done unto him.
Sounds pretty familiar.
You know what I'm saying? So in a country where you have a majority and a minority, I think your representation of Jesus and being a quote unquote Christian, it shows up more in how you go about treating the minority.
Yeah.
I just think it does. I mean, I think it aligns with who you think Jesus is really, and it aligns with his nature and his heart to embrace the minority, right?
Absolutely,
to bring everyone to the table. Not only not to appease them, but to say, no, you belong here too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And I think America have done a poor job at how we treat the minorities. Historically, this is documented.
Absolutely.
So that ain't even really an opinion. It's a fact, if you ask me.
The evidence and proof is right there, bro. I think some of us are choosing to blind ourselves to it because wrestling with that truth hurts. Because then we got to start asking ourselves questions, and some things that maybe we've put down deep inside of us, we don't want to expose because we know there's some work that got to be done. And it goes back to what you were saying before about like being intentional. If people ain't even want to be intentional about engaging in a halftime show and taking in all it has to offer, pretty sure people ain't gonna really go out their way to be intentional about doing the inner work as well.
Nah, I mean, of course not. I mean, that's why they had an issue with Bad Bunny being the headlining artist. Yep. Exactly. I ain't got time to listen to Spanish-speaking artists. I ain't got time to be figuring out what's going on. Like, I ain't got time. I want to see something that represents me.
Me and what I do and what I think and what I believe.
It needs to be appeasing to me. I need to approve of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like,
I have to agree with it.
Yeah.
I have to be certain about it. I have to have the knowledge of it. I can't be curious about it. I can't engage in things that I'm unsure of. Or uncertain of.
Yeah. And, it goes back to, the greatest commandment. Our buddy Christian A. Smith talks about it all the time. The greatest commandment in Matthew, you know what I'm saying? The greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. The second commandment is just like it. To love your neighbor as yourself. The problem is we don't like who our neighbor is.
We don't like who our neighbor is. Or better yet, we ask, Who is my neighbor?
We need to know who the neighbor is before I can before I can love them like myself.
Yeah. Facts.
Because if the neighbor is an Hispanic,
I don't know. Like, you sure?
I don't think they belong here.
And so because they don't belong here,
Yeah.
those are the ones that I don't have to love. And that's why we ask who's our neighbor, because we don't like to try to figure out who we're supposed to love. We will figure out who we can like not love, like who we can get away with not loving and
Man,
exclude.
listen, the homeowners association in America is crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody's a suspect unless you abide by all the rules.
Hey, that's crazy.
It's wild, bro. But I
For
think that
sure.
what we saw on the halftime show was, I think the disrespect and the dishonor of someone else's culture was on full display, and I thought it was very ugly.
Yeah, for
I
sure,
did,
bro.
man. And to anybody who thought it would, to anybody who thought Bad Bunny wasn't a good fit for the Super Bowl, and they thought that what Turning Point USA was putting on was a great thing. I really question your character. Um,
Mm,
I question your perspective and your thoughts towards other people that don't look like you, don't sound like you, and don't come from the same culture as you. I, I I put into question all of that.
right.
I do.
Absolutely.
If you profess to be a Christian, and if you profess to believe in the way and in the nature of Jesus, I question that as well.
Yeah. I question if you're safe.
Mm.
Because you just might not be. If you can't accept their culture over there, what makes you think you're gonna accept mine? Especially if you don't look like me. You don't come from the same. So that means if I don't come from the same background as you, or look like you, or agree with you on everything you think and believe, or how your perception of life is,
Yeah.
how do I know you won't do the same thing to me?
So
Or have that same.
have you ever felt like you weren't accepted, like who you was, your presentation, your aesthetic, who you was as a person? Was there ever any lived experiences of you feeling like who Antoine is not being accepted, either because of my culture, because of the way I look, because of the way I sound, I talk, or different things like that? Like, is there any experiences like that in your life?
Yeah, bro. I definitely have had several experiences. Off the top of my head right now, I can't really think of any specifically based off of I can't think of like a specific drastic, impactful situation, but I've had several occurrences where it's like, hey, I could feel like that was what was going on. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? What about you?
Yeah, yeah, for
You got
sure.
one? You got one off the dome you can think of, like a good story?
I got several,
For real.
but I think one of the most mm, uh, so of course in the workplace,
Mm.
right? In
Yep.
the workplace,
Yep.
and the things that come to mind is like respectability politics and like so code switching. Are you familiar with code switching?
Absolutely. For sure. For
So
sure.
code switching is something that I learned. Um, it's really like almost as a survival tactic, right?
It is, bro.
It's to kind of like insulate my own safety in different spaces. So
For sure.
I code switching is like basically making yourself more palatable and more presentable for me being
Specific.
black, for like white people,
Yeah.
right? So the tone
Yep.
of my voice changes,
Mm-hmm.
the selection of my words change.
Yep.
I try not to seem aggressive or intimidating. I try to be a bit more softer with my approach. And these are things that I learned as a child,
Still doing
right?
to this
And I
day.
saw them
Me.
show up. Yeah, I saw them show up as an adult, right?
Mm.
And the workplace being one of the main places. And I felt it necessary to change my whole presentation, um, and how I interact with people. I found myself trying to shrink myself a little bit and kind of making myself a bit more comfortable for those around me.
At the workplace for sure is where you felt it.
Yeah, I think that's a commonplace. A lot of people feel it, especially if the majority of your team or your company is white.
Yep.
I think that's something that a lot of black people find themselves doing.
Mm. Yeah, I actually know exactly what you're talking about, bro, because I experience it often too. Like when I'm at work, or even if it's not at work, if it's somewhere where I could tell, like white people or any group of people that, may not be accustomed to, how, like you said, how I speak, my speech, maybe how like my tone, all that stuff. I like to. I usually see myself changing stuff up. I mean, it could be even like when somebody call you on the phone. You ever get a phone call from somebody, and then when you get on the phone, you like change your voice up, and you like, "Hello," you like, "Hey,"
Yeah.
like, "Hey, why are you talking like?" you know,
Growing up, we used to call it your white voice.
yeah, it's your white voice. Get on
Yeah,
the phone,
that's
and you
what you
start
called it.
talking
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
you don't talk like that. Oh, that's hilarious,
Yep.
bro. Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't talk like this, but I feel like I
Mhm.
need to talk like this.
Yeah. Because if not, they might be like intimidated or offended by me. And that's crazy, bro,
Yeah.
that's even a thing. Like your tone of voice or your slang or your speech, it scares me. I'm uncertain about it.
Yeah. I remember, so my uncle told me one time, this is, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had applied for a job and they did a phone interview first. And I consider my uncle to be a very well educated and his presentation is really, straightforward. You would almost think he's a military type cat. But
Right.
so over the phone, again, growing up, he sounded white.
Yeah.
Now, sounding white it was meant to be you sound educated, you actually you have a vocabulary, right? You speak clearly and more direct.
Right.
So that's my uncle. So they loved the phone interview. The conversation was great. They had nothing but total interest in my uncle. When they asked him to come into the office for a face-to-face interview, when he came in and introduced himself, they was like, "We're looking for, his name is Thomas.
Yeah.
We're looking for this person." And he was like, "Yeah, that's me." They was
They
like,
thought he was a white dude.
"Oh, you're Thomas?"
Wow.
and and he noticed completely the energy
Mhm.
changed, and he ended up not even getting that job.
What?
He ended up not even getting that job.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's wild, bro. It's wild. But yeah, code switching is something that I feel like I learned how to do. I still do it from time to time. I've gotten a
Yeah.
lot better with being more comfortable with who I am, and how I show up in the world,
Yeah.
and being more proud of it. It was not that I wasn't proud of being black or proud of
Yeah.
coming from the culture that I come from. I
For
feel like I've
sure.
always been proud of that,
Yeah.
and I will always be proud of that.
Right.
But learning how to interact in this world and interact with the world with that pride
Right. Exactly.
and being more consistent with who I am and how I show up everywhere,
Everywhere. Right. While being responsible with carrying yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So churches, as a musician, I've been in all different types of churches,
Yeah.
mainly black churches, what I'm saying? But
Yep.
when you go to the predominantly white churches, the vibe is definitely different.
It is.
It's a lot more to navigate through. Uh, and that's a really good place where I found myself code switching a lot,
Yeah. And like you said,
and
it
trying to make
usually don't
myself
even
more palatable.
exactly. And like you said, it usually doesn't even happen because you're not proud of it. It typically happens just because
Yeah.
you don't want to make others feel uncomfortable. And so you shrink yourself. That
Mm-hmm.
way others feel comfortable around you.
Yeah. And I had to ask myself, you know what I'm saying? What is it about my presentation that would make people feel uncomfortable? Why do I feel like I
Right.
need to soften myself or I need to, what I'm saying, fall back or
Right.
shrink? Because it's like you are who you are, right? You're
Yeah.
not disrespectful. You're not you're not trying to intimidate people. You're not trying to
Right.
bring harm to nobody. So it's like, why do you feel like you need to shrink yourself in order for other people to feel comfortable?
Yeah. Exactly. Facts.
And it's man, there's so many different ways we could really have this conversation. We might need to do a part 2 of not just
Yeah.
talking about Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl, but it's so much about culture and representation, and it's so much about how different ethnicities and backgrounds and people from different cultures, how they show up when they're in a space that isn't it's not their people. It's not who they come from. And it's like, how do we show up in spaces that don't look like us?
Facts. How do we do that? And
I think that's something that needs to be studied.
100%.
I think you should be able to accept people for who they are and where they are right now in their life, right?
Yep.
Even if I disagree with what you believe, ostracizing you should not be a practice.
The same way Bad Bunny wasn't accepted because his perception of things was different than America's perception of things. That was like the same thing that happened with me in the church. Like, they were like, yo, man, you got to like chill that out. Like, you can't say certain things. You can't do this, or you probably shouldn't be saying or doing these things if you go to this church. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. You mean to tell me the rapport, the relationship, all the time we spend with each other, all that's built up, that doesn't mean anything any longer because my beliefs have shifted and changed, and they no longer are in agreement with what you believe. And so now, like, the relationship and all that is different.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. And unfortunately, church is a place where you see it often, right?
Facts.
Church is a place where you see people being ostracized often, where you see people being condemned or chastised for their belief. But not only that, going back to the center of this conversation, just being different culturally.
That's it.
Being different culturally. There's so many different things that go on when there is another representation of a different culture. When that person steps into the room, you either embrace it or you pander to it or you reject it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
And one of the worst things you can do, like, pandering is just as bad as rejecting it, if you ask me. Like, I would much rather you tell me we don't accept your kind here, so I could just walk my ass on up out.
Right.
Because for you, act like you like me.
Yeah. It's black and white.
I would much rather that's clean cut right there. Just tell me no, we don't like your kind here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I could just get up out of there and go find somewhere safer to be at.
Right.
Acting like you like me and pandering to what you think a person like me likes is the worst.
Right. That's fake.
Like, I hate it when a white person thinks just because I'm black, a conversation starter always has to be around hip hop music.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like, what if I listen to classical, bro?
Yeah, exactly. Or chicken.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why does that? Why are you automatically assuming that that's? You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, what we talking about?
You're assuming these are the things that I like because I'm black and because I come from black culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're pandering. I hate when white people feel like they got to change their slang or their vernacular when they're talking to me. And I'll be looking at them like, why are you talking like
that? Hey, have you actually ever asked?
You wasn't just talking like that when you wasn't just talking like that when you was over there talking to your white counterparts, bro. Like, you don't have to use slang terms or any of that with me. Like, that's not going.
Facts.
Nah.
You ain't got to do that, bro. You can be yourself with me.
What I love about black culture and black people, like, historically, we've always had a level of hospitality for other people and whatever it is that they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even to this day, when you see a group of black friends, black men hanging out, and they got that one white person with them, they might call him, yeah, that's our white boy right there. Like, we're going to acknowledge you as our white boy, you know what I'm saying, our white friend.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be a level of appreciation. We're still going to embrace you like you one of our own.
Yep.
You a part of the clique. Like, you a part of the, you know what I'm saying? You the
definitely.
team. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
you the homie.
We're not going to ostracize you because you white. We may make jokes about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We may, you know what I'm saying? But it's all in love and it's all in, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a way of showing that you with us. You know what I'm saying?
It's all in the context of that friendship, that relationship.
Yeah, and we don't need you to act different when you around us, bro.
Yeah.
Be you.
Be you, bro.
Cause that's That's what we respect is authenticity. We don't respect that fake stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, be you. If you tuck your shirt in with everything you wear, keep tucking your shirt in.
It's who you are.
If all you listen to is classical music or country music, turn us on to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, be like, yo, this is what I listen to, and this is why I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It might be something that we open ourselves. You might be expanding our palette. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like when you come and approach me or approach a black man or even a black woman, you don't have to pander to us. You don't please don't go off of any assumptions you have for black people and think that you got to meet us there whenever you interact with us. Don't do that.
Yeah. If you're hearing it from me and D, you got our permission to be yourself with us, having a conversation. You ain't got to never change
Man,
up.
listen, I wouldn't have it no other way.
Nope. Same.
I wouldn't have it no other way.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? This conversation was really just to kind of give our thoughts on the Super Bowl and Bad Bunny. Again, I enjoyed it. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was an amazing representation of America. I thought it was an amazing representation of, Spanish-speaking people, Hispanic, Latin people, Puerto Rican, I thought it was a beautiful, 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 beautiful representation. And I think if you were never exposed to the Spanish lifestyle and where they come from in their history, take a dive in it, read about it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But that was a beautiful display of it all. And how could you not appreciate the diversity? How could you not appreciate a culture that we take so much from? How could, quit taking from people and just embrace and appreciate what they do bring to the table? Facts.
That's the key right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Why can't we focus on that part?
Yeah, I think we need to be more intentional with representing all people in all shades of color and all ethnicities and all background. I think that's an intentionality that all American people need to practice. White people, black people, I think that is something we need to embrace wholeheartedly. How can I become more intentional with embracing people who don't look like me, who don't sound like me, don't talk like me? And what level of intention can I give to that?
For sure. Shout out to Bad Bunny, man, for a great halftime show with the vibes.
Shout out to Bad Bunny. Yeah.
Bad Bunny with the good vibes.
It was fly. I'm probably going to watch it again. I'm probably going to watch it again for real.
Actually, I literally just watched it, actually, bro, and it was dope. I actually tried to check out all the symbolism and catch all the stuff I missed the first time.
Matter of fact, there's a video on YouTube. Somebody broke it down, and somebody was talking about all the symbolisms and everything that he was representing. And I might go watch that just so I can see what I missed, you know what I'm saying, so I can catch all of it.
Hey, send that to me because I love to check that out. They were breaking down everything he was doing in the video and stuff like that.
The symbolisms of his whole performance, like, he started his show out in like the cornfields.
Yep.
So that represented something. When he was walking through the cornfields and like meeting with different people on the sides of the street, like each one of those things represented something that came from his culture. And I thought it was beautiful.
Right. That's dope. I like that. I really like that.
So when I find it, I'll send it to you for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bad Bunny was a representation of someone being unapologetically themselves and representing their culture. And I can always respect and appreciate that.
As he should have been.
For sure.
So, but that's it, man. We signing off, bro. That's just our thoughts and our reviews on the Super Bowl halftime show. Man, there was so much we didn't say. There were so many different ways we could have had this conversation, but there's almost an hour conversation of just some of our thoughts when it comes to that. We may do another segment of this or just something else where we talk about culture and representation and stuff like that. But I just wanted to talk about the halftime show, man, because it was recent, and I just think that that's how impactful the halftime show was, man. And a lot was displayed.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. This was a great conversation for us to have, and like D said, we're going to continue having these conversations, and bringing up current events, things that happen within the culture, And just giving our honest opinion and observations on it. We ain't being dogmatic on it. We ain't telling y'all to believe or think exactly or see it exactly the same way we see it. Just giving our observation, you know.
So until next time, be curious, ask questions,
and talk your shit. I messed up.
Let's get out of here. You good?
Peace.